This will be interesting. Let's see if this works. What up, what up, what up? I usually announce when I'm going live, but I'm trying something different today. Let's see. I got a lot of stuff going on right here, y'all. A lot of stuff going on right here. What up, what up, what up? What up, people? Don't look at all the stuff I got going on. This is my office. What's up, people? So I got a lot of stuff going on. So I'm going to look over here. I'm going to look over here. I'm going to look over here. So it's ciao. But I just wanted to talk to you guys, and I want you guys to kind of interact with me, you know, a little bit. This is not going to be long, you know. I just wanted to really, what's up? Oh, snap. I just wanted to talk about Father's Day a little bit more, you know. I had an amazing comment from somebody on my Instagram who had made a comment about how no one is better off without their fathers. So if you remember a couple videos ago I did about how sometimes you're better off without your father. You know, a lot of people are upset because they feel like if they had a dad, their lives would have been better and so forth and so on. And I said, based on if somebody were to ask you, you know, who is your dad? Tell me something about your dad, blah, blah, blah. You don't have anything good to say. So as far as I can see, what are you complaining about? Right? So you guys remember that video? If you don't remember that video, you need to go back and look at it. And I feel like that amazing comment that was left on my page was left by a father. His the mother of his children left the kids with him, and he is raising the child or kids by himself. And so his comment was that no one is better off without their father. And to a degree, I agree with that. To a degree, I agree with that. To a degree, I agree that all children need a mother, right? Probably because I had a wonderful mother, or have a wonderful mother. And so I am a little bit biased of that. Some people who are daddy's girl or daddy's boy are probably a little biased about, you know, everybody needs a father. My point of what I was saying was that it is not a matter of whether a two-parent home or a father figure is necessary for successful development. More so it was that if your father and or mother, we're talking about fathers right now, if your parent was a piece of shit, then you are better off without them. Does that make sense? So, for example, like I said in the video, there are a lot of people who feel that they were robbed because they didn't have a father. So, for example, let's say your father was in jail, right? And so whether it was because of a choice that he made or wrongful imprisonment, the bottom line is that your father was in jail and you feel that you were robbed and you're now angry because you didn't get a chance to go to the jail. You know, like you never got to see your dad. Well, there are so many things that go along with going to a jail cell. You know, it's a lot. Most of the time, the jails are nowhere near the city, unless they're in like a county jail. But like actual prisons and stuff, they're not in the city. Actual jails are not, you know, are usually not closed. People have to take time off to go take your tail to go see your daddy in jail. And it's usually like a 2-hour drive. Then you have to get basically anal searched before you go into the jail to make sure you don't have contraband and all that kind of stuff. Then you get to see him for about 15 or 30 minutes, you know, and then you leave. You got to go through that whole process again and then go back home. This is an all-day thing. And if you are living in a single-parent household, which most of the time it is, or your grandmother raised you or whatever, then the process of getting a little 5-year-old or a 12-year-old to a jail, to jail cell to see his dad, it's very, very strenuous. It's very, very strenuous. And so what I wanted to alleviate in the video was some of these stressors that we put on ourselves because we feel like things could have been better. You see what I'm saying? Like, oh, I should have been able to visit my father. My mother didn't take me, or my adopted parents didn't take me. Or, I wish that my father came and visited me more often. Well, if your father was a drug addict, or your father was, maybe you were born out of wedlock and your father was already married, or your mother was already married, how is it possible that situation would have been healthy? Do you understand what I'm saying? So I'm trying to get people to reach beyond the pain and reach outside of the confines of the little girl that was hurt. You know what I mean? Or the little boy that was hurt. There are situations that you just could not have possibly understood as a child. You just could not have understood them. And even if they were explained to you, you would not have understood them. But now that you are an adult, it is your responsibility. I'm talking good now. It is your responsibility as an adult to look at those situations and say, you know what? I actually was blessed to have a father who was in the home and my mother was not in the home. Or I was actually blessed, now that it's Father's Day is coming up, that my mother or my grandmother or grandfather or whatever raised me and kept me away from such pathology. Okay? Because we have to remember that the idea is to bring you up in as much love as possible in the current circumstances. Right? So if you continuously hate your father because he wasn't there, or you hate your father because of his own life choices, or you hate your father because you were born out of wedlock or whatever, what it actually is doing is causing hatred in yourself. It's causing hatred in yourself because that's half of who you are. I don't care how you figure it out. It's still half of who you are. And it literally prevents you from growing in love. It prevents you from being more loving because there's a part of your heart that is hardened. Are you hearing what I'm trying to tell you? Okay? So what I'm saying is this. If you were to look at the extenuating circumstances, okay, whether somebody was in jail, or whether somebody was on drugs, or whether there was just a pathology that your mother or your family was trying to keep you away from, if you would look at that now as an adult and tell the child in you, honey, Megan, the reason why he wasn't able to come was because, these are the choices that he chose. He was in jail or whatever, or he was on drugs, or he had another family or whatever. And now that you are an adult, how would you handle the situation? If you were to soothe yourself a little bit more, soothe the child in you, you could forgive, not forget, not go run behind your dad and give him a bunch of presents and all that kind of stuff. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that you could forgive in your own heart, because now as an adult, you understand how hard it is to raise children, how hard it is when you have made choices, how to recover from those choices, right? So all I'm saying is, if you're not willing to soothe the child in you, that child will always be hurt. You're never going to forgive your dad. You're never going to forgive anyone. You're always going to be bitter. You're always going to be sad. And when Father's Day comes up, when your birthday comes up, when his birthday comes up, whatever, you're going to be pissed off all the goddamn time. And what I'm saying to you is this: stop. Because you don't understand what could have possibly been going on that caused him to make those choices that I'm sure he made out of either necessity, because he did not know any better, and or pathology, meaning that's all he knew. That's what happened to him as a child. Look at what happened to your father's father's father. You know what I'm saying? And if you were to look at those kind of situations, I guarantee you that you'd have a little bit more sympathy for your dad, for the male figures in your life, because, sweetheart, it is very, very hard out here. If you have not recognized, there's a lot of people being imprisoned falsely. There are a lot of things that are going on, recidivism when you come out of jail. And I talk about this on my podcast. I really hope that you guys go and check it out. My podcast is Talking Good with Megan McGlover. You can find it on iTunes, on SoundCloud, on Spotify, and all that other stuff. But I talk about the numbers. I mean, the numbers of people that go to jail and the recidivism, and how it is almost impossible to get a job after you've gone to jail, and how most people that have gone to jail don't even have a high school diploma, much less a college degree. And people who are employers don't even consider looking at an application of someone who has been in jail. So as a man, how do you think a man would feel to not be able to provide for his family? Most of the time, men will shy away and say, you know what, I don't have anything to bring to the table, so I'm just not going to come to the table. Do you understand what I'm saying? And let's not talk about your mamas talking all that shit about how you don't do this, I can't get no child support, and blah, blah, blah. And they're angry and they're upset, and I understand it. And I'm not talking about anybody one way or the other. What I am saying to you is give people a break. Give people a break. You would want a break too. You know, a lot of us, I don't have any human children, but a lot of us have made bad choices because that's the only choice you felt like you had to make. And you wish that you could have made a better choice, and you wish the system was different, and you wish all these other things. And so you hope that your child, when they get older, will understand the choices that you made. And so that's all I'm saying to you is give your dad a break. Let this Father's Day come in and soothe your heart. Look at the wonderful things that have happened to you in spite of. Look at your life and how good it is because of the fact that you didn't have a father who was coming in the house and beating your mother's tail every night. Look at the blessings that you have when your father's homeboy who would have come in the house drunk didn't rape you. Look at the fact that your mother was there and didn't have to deal with a father who may have gotten the law involved and drug dealers involved and came in and shot you, or the city came and took you away from the home because the father was cutting up. Look at a situation where you could have been in where your mother was constantly being cheated on. These are bad situations, right? These are all bad situations. Look at how much you have been kept from, right? Look at how much you've been kept from. Look at a situation from being a victor and not a victim. You are not a victim. You understand what I'm telling you? If you are still alive and you are breathing, then you're not a victim. You are a victor. Okay? You are victorious because of this situation. And so what I'm saying to you is just give people a break. Thank your mother for what she did, and thank your father for staying away if that's what he chose to do. And of course, if you have a father that didn't stay away, then more power to you. That's a blessing. That's a complete and total blessing. But I'm talking about people whose hearts are broken because their father wasn't there. Honey, let it go. He did the best he could with what he had. I promise you that. And I don't even know you people. And I bet you your father did the very best that he could with what it was that he was given, based on the pathology, based on what he was brought up in, based on the situation with your mother. You don't know. Some of you people's mothers are mean as hell. Are mean as hell. And if he did ask to come and visit you, she probably put him through a whole bunch of shit that he had to go through. Come on now, I'm talking good. And so you understand what I'm trying to say to you? You have to understand that there are extenuating situations in which you were not privileged to as a child. Do you understand what I'm telling you? And so you have to, as an adult, Soothe your own heart. Forgive your father and forgive your mother. Forgive the situation so that you can move on from that. Am I talking good or what? Okay? Shit. Now, hell. So there's more of this on my podcast. It's a really good podcast. I talk about the statistics. I talk about, all the stuff that's going on that could be, different possibilities of why your father was away and different reasons as to why you should forgive your father. People are doing the very best that they can. If your dad is in jail, baby, he just could not see you. And it was too hard to even get to the jail. I promise you that. If your dad had a pathology, if he was on drugs and all that kind of stuff, it is best that he stayed away from home. And he probably stayed away from home for you. You were probably protected by your mother or your grandmother or whoever, or by him, so that your life could be better. He probably knew he wasn't shit and decided, I'm going to stay away in order to protect my own child. Do you understand what I'm saying? So what am I saying to you? Damn, forgive him. Let it go. Tell him Happy Father's Day in your heart. You ain't got to go around and look for him and give him flowers and shit like that. But the best thing for you to do is forgive him in your heart. I promise you, it will make you feel better. It really, really will. So go on my podcast. The rest of it's there. You won't see my face. You won't see my facial expressions, but you at least will hear my voice. There's another podcast on there about depression, and there's another podcast on there about why your breath stinks. Okay, I talk about why your breath stinks and how your digestive system and the things that you're eating, and when you're not boo-booing properly, how that stuff is backed all up in your chest here, coming out in your breath, rotting your teeth. Come on now, we talk about it. I'm talking good, hell. You people know what it is. You know what it is. It's been this way for a long time. This ain't no new shit. Huh? Am I saying it to you right? Okay. I love you long. I love you strong. Bye. How do I get off of this shit? I'm on a whole bunch of shit here. Okay, let me get off of this here. Okay, let's end this here. This is ridiculous. The whole thing is preposterous. Bye, guys. You guys are so awesome. Look at my podcast. Go to www.meganmcglover.com. MeganMcGlover.com. I'm really excited about my website, you guys. I really am. I'm really excited about the t-shirts. I'm waiting for my t-shirts to come in the mail right now. Woo! I'm going to be wearing my t-shirts without a bra. You hear me? Baby! Bye, guys. I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Forgive your dad. He tried his best.